Hello, Siren. I was crossing the street a few minutes ago, and a white van was slowly driving toward the crosswalk. Even though I had the right of way, I decided to let the van go first. Do you think I was being overly cautious?
Under Chinese traffic law, drivers are required to slow down and stop for pedestrians at crosswalks. If they fail to do so, they may receive a fine and penalty points on their driver's license.
I just quickly weighed the risks and the benefits. If I crossed first and the driver didn't stop, I could get seriously injured. On the other hand, if I let the vehicle go first, I'd only lose a few seconds. So waiting seems like the safer choice. Of course, if I can clearly see the driver slowing down or stopping, I'll cross first. What's interesting is that for a few seconds, it's almost like a little psychological game. We're both waiting to say who goes first. Ideally, a polite and law-abiding driver should stop and let the pedestrian cross, but we all know that not everyone follows the rules.
That makes perfect sense. Well, one reason is that not every intersection has traffic cameras or police officers around. If drivers think they probably won't get caught, some of them simply won't follow the rules, especially at smaller intersections. There's another reason too. Large vehicles like trucks and buses have significant blind spots. Sometimes the driver isn't trying to ignore the pedestrian, they simply didn't notice the pedestrian.
Can you give me some examples?
Sure. Here are a couple of examples. Imagine a delivery truck making a right turn. Because of the blind spot near the front of the truck, the driver may not notice someone stepping onto the crosswalk. Or imagine a driver making a left turn at a busy intersection. They're paying so much attention to oncoming traffic that they forget to check for pedestrians. That's why traffic safety is a shared responsibility. Even if you have the right of way, it's always a good idea to stay alert.
I've heard that in some countries, pedestrians often let cars go first, even when they have the right of way. Is that true?
Yes, that's true in some places. It often depends on local driving culture rather than the law. For example, in some parts of China, pedestrians sometimes choose to let cars go first, even when they're crossing at a marked crosswalk. Many people simply don't want to take the risk. In some Southeast Asian countries where traffic can be very busy and unpredictable, pedestrians also tend to wait until the road is completely clear before crossing. On the other hand, in countries like Japan, Sweden, and Norway, drivers are much more likely to stop for pedestrians. As a result, pedestrians usually feel more confident about crossing when they have the right of way. No matter where you are, though, it's always best to stay alert and never assume that every driver will stop.
Here's a more controversial question. Is refusing to yield to pedestrians basically the same as tax evasion or corruption?
That's an interesting question. They do have something in common, but they're not exactly the same. The similarity is that all of them involve breaking rules that are meant to protect society. People often do these things because they think the chances of getting caught are low, or because they believe they'll benefit from it. The difference is that failing to yield is usually a split-second traffic violation. Tax evasion and corruption are often planned, long-term actions for financial gain. Another important difference is the type of harm they cause. Refusing to yield can immediately put someone's life in danger, while tax evasion and corruption usually cause indirect harm over a much longer period of time. So, while they share some similarities, they're still quite different in terms of intent, scale, and consequences.
Thank you, Saren. I learned a lot. So, did anyone make it this far? Did you study today?